All right, well, we'll get started. We know people are joining, so campers, welcome. Happy to have you guys with us. As you guys already see, who's joined here, our special guest. I'm going to take some time, introduce him real quick to everybody, and then we can get into some questions and then things like that. I know some campers had some questions, so again, happy to have you guys on. Everybody knows Juan Toscano Anderson playing with our team this last couple of years. But just to give you guys a little bit of an introduction to exactly who he is, Juan grew up in Oakland. Here is a Bay Area native. He actually attended camp as a youth player. He played high school basketball over at Castro Valley High School, where he led the team to actually their most wins in history, and then their first section championship, as well as their first league championship. So a lot of success in high school right here in the Bay Area. Went on to play at Marquette, where he played collegiately for 4 years. And then after that, he played professionally in Mexico, right before playing for our G League affiliate, the Santa Cruz Warriors. While he was with Santa Cruz, signed a two-way deal, and actually played a really big role while he was a two-way player for the Golden State Warriors, which led him to signing his NBA contract with the Warriors. And so obviously looking to be a big part of the success, the team's success moving forward, just as he was this last year. So I know we can't clap it up. But we want to welcome, on behalf of the entire camp staff, welcome Juan Toscano Anderson.
Appreciate you, my guy. Thank you. That was a dope introduction. I sound pretty like I got a lot of accolades there.
I was gonna say it's easy when you got the accolades you got, man. That's easy. But perfect. Well, man, we'll jump right into it. I want to ask you a couple questions. Like I said, I know our campers turned in some questions as well, so we're gonna be able to read some of them to you. But really, just to kick it off, man. We talked about the journey a little bit, playing obviously here in the Bay Area, then going to play at Marquette, which is big time college basketball. Going to Mexico first to play professionally, and then signing a two-way deal in the G League. All these different stops. My question to you is just how rewarding was the journey, and how much of a factor did each stop really play into that journey and your current success?
Well, to answer the first part of your question, the journey is very rewarding. I think once you look back, once you get to a certain point, like I'm not exactly where I want to be yet in my career, but I mean, I've arrived to the environment, I guess, for lack of a better explanation. And so like I look back and everything that it took to get here. And so like, for instance, playing in the G League, like I loved living in Santa Cruz. That was one of my favorite places that I've lived in, in the 10 stops that I've had playing professionally. And so you just don't realize in the moment how rewarding these things are, how fun they are, how different they are. Santa Cruz is much different from growing up in Oakland or living in Mexico. And so those little things, you appreciate them. The second part of your question was what? I'm sorry, tell me again.
I mean, you've kind of answered already, just, what each stop, how it's factored into your current success as well.
Yeah. I mean, just stepping into different environments, different roles, being versatile and learning how to get in where you fit in. I think that's a underrated quality, people who are versatile and know how to just apply value to a team or a group effort, wherever that may be. And so that was one thing I learned. Some teams I was the better player. Some teams I was not the best player. Some teams I was playing the most time. Some teams I was not. Some teams I was a cheerleader more often than not. And some teams I was shooting the game-winning shot. And so, different roles have helped me with my ego, my personal development as a teammate, as a leader, as a supporting cast. And then, just my growth as a teammate, as a player, learning the game. I'm just always a sponge because I feel like you can learn something new from everybody. And so even more specific is just having like different coaches with different teaching techniques and different methods. And so everything is different. Everything's an experience. And that's how I always looked at it. And so I appreciated every experience for what it was and not for what I wanted it to be.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. And I know, you're a great example of, like you said, actually taking whatever role that is, whether it's a star player or a role player, or whatever you need to do to help the team success. And you've done that. So kudos to you, man. And the next question I got for you is obviously we touched on it. You grew up here in the Bay Area. How special is it? Can you speak on a little bit playing for the home team, playing for the Warriors?
It's really special. I mean, it's just an experience in itself. It's a special experience. This is a team that I've rooted for my whole life, and so I always dreamed of making it to the NBA. I don't think I ever particularly dreamed of playing for the Warriors, just because that seemed like just way too specific. It's hard enough to make it to the NBA, let alone be picked up by your hometown team. So those odds are just very slim. And so I just feel like it was destined, man. I feel like I'm lucky. I'm super appreciative of the opportunity, and it's a lot of fun. And it makes me appreciate like the Bay. I just went on the Golden Gate Bridge like 2 summers ago for the first time in my life. I went to Coit Tower for the first time a few months ago. Just different things like that. I never really got to explore the city. And I was away for 8-9 years, with my 4 years in college, and then the 5 years I was playing abroad and stuff like that. And so just that prolonged amount of time from home made me like be homesick a lot. And so now that I am home, I'm understanding that my life, the chapter may change at some point in time, hopefully later than sooner, but at some point it's going to be time for me to turn the chapter and move on, whether that's to a different basketball team or, I retire as a Warrior and go do something else with my life. And so I'm just appreciative of the time that I have here. It's fun to see everything that's happening in the Bay Area, watching, the change of the landscape and all that stuff. And so it's a cool opportunity. Being able to play in front of my family is fun. My friends, every game, there's somebody that I know, like, oh, hey, somebody that I haven't seen for years and years. And so that's really cool. And it makes you like just live in the moment and appreciate the moments.
Absolutely, man. That's awesome. Well, you touched on it, like you said, the Warriors being kind of the team you rooted for your entire life. My next question to you is who are some of the players, and you can even talk about specifically Warriors players when you were growing up, but really any NBA players that you looked up to. We have a bunch of campers, that are online. Obviously have a really, really cool opportunity to hear from someone that they're looking up to and yourself. Who are some of the players that you really looked up to when you were younger and, when you were a camper coming up and like you said, always had dreams of playing in the NBA? Who really played a factor into that?
Yeah, well, the Warriors were my favorite team. And obviously I went to a lot of games as a kid. So on the Warriors, it was like Larry Hughes. I mean, I pretty much looked up, it was the NBA. They were all my favorite players. Bob Sura, Larry Hughes, Speedy Claxton. You know what I'm saying? Like guys that these kids probably never even heard of.
Yeah.
But those were the guys that I looked up to. I wanted to have cornrows like Larry Hughes had. Obviously, Allen Iverson and Kobe were my two of my favorite players. They are who they are. I don't even need to talk about them. T-Mac was one of my favorite players, but it was just fun to watch. Those guys they were killers, man, and they really inspired me.
Absolutely. It's funny you mentioned some of the names that you said. I think a lot of our campers don't even know who they are. So that's funny, but it's different times. Obviously, we're thrilled to have some superstar talent on the team now. And then, again, players like yourself that a lot of these campers could look up to. One question I had is, one thing about the journey that we spoke about is that you're an undrafted player, right? Which obviously makes it a little bit more difficult sometimes to really earn your keep. And so it seems like from the outside looking in, you've always had to work a little extra to really earn respect, earn a big role in the team. Can you kind of just speak to that and what it's taken you to be as an undrafted player and coming from playing professionally in Mexico to now the spot that you're in and earning an NBA contract?
Yeah, I don't want to say it's been like so difficult because I just feel like that's just like magnifying, my triumphs and tribulations. But I mean, my motto has always been like go above and beyond. I feel like if I don't believe in everybody using the term hard work. I feel like if you're doing the bare minimum and you're doing what you're supposed to do, like if you go to practice and y'all ran all day, that was just work. That wasn't hard work because you did what everybody else did. Now, if you stayed and ran 10 extra suicides, that was hard work because you did extra. You did more than what was required of you. And I feel like it's kind of like adding a penny to the bank or a quarter to the bank every day, your piggy bank. you have to add a little bit extra every day to overcome, where you are, because if you just do the same thing every day, then you're going to be in the same place. And so that's how I just, approach everyday life. Like, that's one thing I really appreciate my craft, and I really approach it, very seriously. I'm always willing to put in the extra work. Now, am I going to sit here and say I'm the hardest worker? Sometimes I have teammates who work harder than me sometimes, but every day I am doing extra for Juan. I can't compare how much I'm doing or how little I'm doing to someone else, but as for myself, I'm doing more than what's required of me every day. And I feel like that's why the game has rewarded me. I feel like what you put into the game is what you're going to get out. It's like if you try to plant an apple tree, you have to water that tree and nurture it every day, to get those fruits. And so that's just how I approached it every day, regardless of what level I was on. Even if things weren't going my way, I just, continued to stay the course, because in actuality, I love the game of basketball, and I feel like it's the best job in the world. And even if I'm not playing, or even if things aren't going my way, well, it's much better than any other job I could possibly choose to do. And so as long as I was doing what I love, then I was happy. Everything else was extra. And so, and I think the game just rewarded me for, being humble enough to understand and recognize that, that you get what you put in.
Absolutely, the karma of the game, and I think, like you said, you get what you put into all areas. I know for our campers, whether that's schoolwork or anything, like you said. So that's, again, kudos to you. To kind of stay on that subject, coming in and really having to earn your keep, but not only doing that on any NBA team, doing it to stepping into, an absolute dynasty with the superstar talent we have, like Steph and Clay and Draymond. Can you speak on, the effect they've had on you and how that's, attributed to some of your success, your personal success as well?
Yeah, I just think it's such a treat, man. I could have been born in the 1960s or the 1970s or whatever the year is, and me playing in the NBA and not, the Warriors weren't very good, before the guys you just mentioned came along. And so, say I made the team 15 years ago and I was just on a losing team, that's a whole different dynamic than playing with 3 Hall of Famers, a dynasty, the 2 best shooters to ever play the game. In my opinion, the best point guard to ever play the game. Like, I just think it's a treat, and I don't take that for granted. And I know every time I step into the gym and I'm around those guys, I'm around greatness. And so I aspire to be, if not greater, just as great as they are. And so I'm very appreciative of that opportunity. It's not every day that you get to play with, a guy like Steph Curry. That's, people are going to talk about Steph Curry forever. People are going to talk about Klay Thompson forever. And same with Dre. People are going to talk about him for a very long time. And so I just want to be a vital part. Like, I want to compliment those guys because they are who they are. They've created this. And, like I said earlier, I know how to get in where I fit in, and that's what I'll do. And so I just think it's a great opportunity to, revive the dynasty, that they have built. And I think, with the healthy squad, everybody clicking, I think we can do some damage. And so I'm super excited to play, get Clay back out there and play with all those guys, because, playing with Steph on one side of the floor is already like, it's an advantage. Now, if you got 2 of those guys on the floor, it's just like, I'm excited to see what the basketball floor looks like with those guys out there.
Exciting times ahead for indeed, and then we're thrilled to watch. To kind of shift gears to something outside of basketball, and something that I think, on behalf of the Basketball Academy and some of the guys that are over here that that have had relationships with you, I think one of the things we're most proud about is, you being a finalist for the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Award for pursuing social justice. So I just wanted to see if you can kind of speak on to what that means and why it's so important to you to play such a large role, to really lead the way, on the efforts for equality.
Yeah, well, it's pretty cool to be acknowledged for other things outside of basketball. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want to sound ungrateful. Like, it's really cool to be acknowledged for your basketball efforts, but to also be acknowledged as, a person, as a human, as I guess, I don't want to say a philanthropist or anything like that, but like, it's humbling. And so, and that's important to me because, life is much bigger than basketball. At the end of the day, everybody's not going to make the NBA. At the end of the day, basketball is going to stop bouncing for me, and so who will I be after that? I'm not going to be an NBA player no more. I'm just going to be a regular guy. And so I'm always weary of that. I'm weary of how I treat people and, all of that stuff. And one thing is people will forget about your basketball statistics. They'll forget about what you've done and what you won, but they won't ever forget how you treated them and how you made them feel. And so, not that I do it for people to remember how I treated them, but I just do it because I want to help people. There were so many people who've helped me, along the way, who've connected the dots. And sometimes it was small deeds, but those small deeds were huge to me, in the moment. And so I'm understanding of that. I'm understanding that it's not always, people don't always need the $50,000 scholarship to succeed. Sometimes people just need the $500 grant to pay for a seminar or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And so that's why it's important to me, because you never know how close someone is. They just don't have the resources, or they don't have the accessibility or the support. And so I just try to help. And at the end of the day, I want to see everybody win. I want to see everybody eat. And so I like to help people, man. That's satisfying to me.
Absolutely, man. Well, again, on behalf of the Warriors Academy and all of us that obviously have some relationships with you, and even the camper, everybody that is looking up to you and seeing the awesome impact you have on the court. It's really, really cool to see the huge impact you have outside of basketball and off the court as well. So again, kudos to you, man. Couldn't be prouder of you, and congratulations on being a finalist for that award.
Thank you.
So we want to do, actually, we do have some questions from some campers. And again, like I said, some of us are going to ask the questions on behalf of the campers. So before we go to our camper of the week that's here with us, actually, we're going to go, Tony's actually going to start us off. He has a question from one of his campers that he's representing, and we'll go, he'll pass it on from then.
JTA, how you doing?
I'm well, man. How you doing?
Good, man. We're living. So I get the honor of talking about a camp that I got to run here in Oakland at the Warriors basketball facility.
Okay.
It was session 6. We had some great kids at this session. I got to talk about Dominic Hampton, who's probably on here. We got to talk about Aaron Evans. It wouldn't be an Oakland camp without Aaron Evans. And then another guy I wanted to shout out was Nicholas Wynn, who's from North Carolina, who made it all the way back out to the Bay Area to come to the camp. So
oh, wow.
That was pretty special.
That's dedication.
Yeah, it was special. It was good. But Kyan Tan is the camper that's going to ask this question. You talked a little bit about your G League experience. He had a question. He just kind of wanted to see if you could dive a little deeper into that and what it took to get those 2 years down in the G League, what it took to get you up to the big team.
I think it takes some humbling, when you get to the G, or even in the NBA. Well, the NBA is a little more defined, but when you get to the G League, it's a bunch of guys who are extremely talented, who've played at all different levels of basketball, Euro League, high major college, some guys from the NBA. And I think a large part of it is understanding, the job you're applying for. You can't be, and most often guys in the G League are going to be, 15th man roster, 14th man, at least to start out. And so Alex Caruso did an interview, and he had a great analogy. He said, you can't have a janitor's resume but be applying for the CEO's spot. And so I think that's, one of the things you have to be understanding of what your role is going to be on the team that, that you're playing for, on their developmental team. That's one thing. 2, just, really utilizing the resources you have. That's one thing I did, is I really learned the system. I took advantage of the resources that I had down there. Ryan Atkinson, he's on video saying, like, when I was down there, man, when I got sent back down to the G League, I was in the gym like 3 times a day. They had to lock me out of the gym because I was just that like obsessed with, I wanted to get better. I wanted to get back in the G League or back into the NBA. And so I really took advantage of those resources that I had and just enjoying it, man. It's fun. Like you're still playing with NBA pros. Like you're not in the NBA, but the large majority of those guys are pro basketball, like legit NBA pros. And so there's just a lot of different components to it. But I think the largest part for me was just humbling myself and having an understanding of who I was as a player and what job I was applying for. And so, yeah.
No, I appreciate the knowledge, and I know everybody else does. We're very proud of you, man. I'm going to hand it back over to Jose, and he's going to give you a couple more questions.
For sure, man.
All right, I got some questions from our campers out in Livermore, Mendenhall. I want to give a shout out to Austin S., Patrick K., some of our campers that were with us. It was obviously a great week. I have a question from Aaron and Benjamin, and they're wondering what other sports did you play growing up as a youth player?
I played every sport, like literally that I could play. Kickball, soccer, baseball, tetherball. Like I played everything. Now, in regards to playing for a team, I only played basketball and soccer, but I played every sport at the Boys and Girls Club, at camps and everything. Like I'm a competitor first and foremost before I'm an athlete, but like just being a natural athlete, I tried everything.
That's awesome.
I love to swim, man. Swimming is one of the best things ever.
Awesome. Well, I have another question from some of our campers here. We had a camp here at the Warriors basketball facility. Again, wanted to shout out Damian, Titus, Manav. And I actually have a question from Madden Ona. Curious about what do you do when you're currently in a game and you feel like you're playing a bad game? How do you kind of try to turn that around?
I have to regroup. If I get subbed out, then I sit down and regroup. If I'm still in the game, then a lot of it is mental. And the best part about mistakes is that they're over. And once you make a mistake, it's done. And so you have to figure out how to bounce back. And so the best way to bounce back is, to make a play, the next play. And so once you're understanding of that, one, it's over, and 2, you can't get that mistake back. The best thing to do is just to move on. I know that sounds so much easier said than done, because for a long time I had a lot of trouble. Like I would get into my own head. But when you get into your own head, those mistakes start to become compounded. You mess up on a defensive assignment, and then you go down to the offensive end and you're thinking about it and you catch the ball, and it's like I wasn't even ready to shoot, but I'm so open that I got to shoot anyway, and I missed. But I wasn't prepared because I was so consumed with the mistake that I just made 10 seconds ago. And so I think it's just having short-term memory loss. Can't do anything about that mistake. It happened. It's over. And like in hindsight, there's so many possessions in the game. Like I'm pretty sure nobody's magnifying that mistake as much as you are. So, just regroup and realize that the game, that's the beauty of basketball. That's why people like basketball, because it's just so fast. There's so much happening. And so you got to use that to your advantage as well. Like if you turn the ball over, but you get back and get a steal and then get a layup, like people forgot about you turning the ball over. You have the opportunity to correct your mistakes, as opposed to sports like, I don't know, football. You throw an interception or you fumble and the team recovers. Now you got to come sit on the sideline for a whole drive, which could last 7 to 8 minutes, if it's a long drive. And so, just having short-term memory loss.
Love it. Well, I'm going to turn it over to Coach Alim. He has some questions for you as well.
What's going on, man? How we doing?
Coach Alim, what's going on, man?
I'm doing well, sir. I'm doing well. So we got some questions from our campers at Thomas Hart Middle School in Pleasanton. I want to shout out Amelia, Alistair, and Sawyer. This question is from Michael Demi. It's a 2-part question. The first question is, what do you enjoy most about playing with the Warriors?
Playing with greats. That's always fun. Being coached by a great. Steve Kerr is a very decorated coach. And so there's just greatness all throughout the building, from the top to the bottom. And it requires greatness. When you step into that building, like you better be ready to be great, or not at least try to be great.
Mm-hmm. All right. Second question. Favorite teammate?
D. Lee and Draymond.
Okay. D. Lee and Draymond.
Yeah, D. Lee, that's my guy. We built a great relationship. You know, we played in the G League for a year when he was on two-way, and, you know, we've known each other for a long time. And then Dre, man, that's my guy. Like, I love all those guys. They all great dudes, but Dre just – y'all know how good he is, how great he is, but as a teammate, like, he's amazing, man. He always got your back. He's always going to coach you, but he's always going to let you know, like, he demands greatness. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when you're playing with these greats, you know, you got to be ready to at least, you know, compete to be great. And so it's just a lot of fun playing with guys like that.
For sure. All right, man, I'm going to pass it over to Coach V. She got some more questions for you.
For sure, man.
Hey, Juan, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for hopping on. I've got a couple questions. So I was at Mills in Millbrae a couple weeks ago. I want to shout out Connor, Verenia, Riley, all those kids out there did a great job that week in Millbrae. This question comes from a pair of siblings. So Sophia and Gryffindor, they are asking, what was your favorite part of Warriors camps, specifically when you went as a camper?
Wow, that was a long time ago.
If you could remember anything.
I was in third grade. I was 8 at the time, so that was 20 years ago.
Wow.
Honestly, that was my first camp. That was my first basketball camp. And so everything was new to me, and I appreciated everything. It was a lot of fun. I just loved, like, the team atmosphere. I loved being on a team, the camaraderie. Just hanging out, like, that was fun, creating bonds and you know, making friends, just all those small things that I think kids take for granted now, you know, but when you look back on it, I'm sure there's some kids that consistently come to camp, right, every year. I'm sure y'all get a lot of the same kids. And so I think if those kids, like, really, like, understand that, wow, I'm creating bonds with these, you know, with other kids, I think those bonds will go a long way and they'll have lifelong friends.
That's amazing. So Warriors camp was something that was beneficial to your path to the NBA, then, you would say?
For sure. It definitely sparked my desire to, you know, want to be like, playing in the NBA and playing basketball is cool, but one of the best parts of playing basketball is the locker room camaraderie. And so that's one thing, like, you always want to be on a good team with a good locker room camaraderie, good teammates, because that's the fun part. Those are the guys you spend all your time with. And so, yeah, I definitely, like, chased all those things to be on a team, be a leader or a captain on a team, you know, just everything that comes with playing the actual game.
That's awesome. Thanks, Juan. I'm going to kick it back to Coach Lim. He has a couple more questions for you. Appreciate it.
Of course.
All right, I'm back. So we got session 12. This is actually this week at the Warriors basketball facility. I want to shout out Vincent, Ozzie, and Ian. This question is from Garrett Gibbons. He wants to know the best way to break down a defender.
The best way to break down a defender? Just be aggressive. I mean, there's so many we could break. That's a good question in itself. Like, it just depends on the scenario. But I think just being aggressive. If you're the aggressor, more often than not, you're either going to get the bucket, you're going to get the foul, or you're going to get, you know, the M1. So I think that's the best thing. Just don't, you know what they say, don't play with your food. Like, just really attack a defender, because a defender like myself, if a guy is playing with the ball in front of me, like, I'm going to just take up that space and get into it and crowd his space. But, you know, guys, the better guys are guys who just attack, you know, the defense without playing with the ball.
Appreciate it, man. I'm going to pass it over to Coach Ben. Proud of you always, man.
Thank you, brother.
Juan, what's going on, man? Just want to say we appreciate you being here, man. Thanks for hopping on with us.
Of course, man. Thank you.
So I'm running camp this week out in San Francisco. We're actually out in Thrive City, right in front of the arena, which is really special, man. It's our first time there. Got a really energetic group. Kids are having a blast. So I got to shout out Josiah, Asal, and Philip. We actually got 2 kids, don't know each other, but they both drove down from Oregon just for that camp this week. So,
Oh, wow.
got to shout out Ray and John Michael. So, I did have a question, though, from Donovan, and he wants to know, since you have such a unique, journey to the NBA, can you talk to us a little bit about your perseverance?
Wow. Yeah. I don't really know where to start with that, but I just feel like, perseverance it's your desire to, to achieve whatever you want to achieve. I'm not going to say I've always known, but I've always known that I've always been intentional about what I wanted to do. I guess that's a better way to put it. And so once I was able to realize what exactly I wanted to do, then everything I did was intentional to achieve that goal. I go to sleep early to get my rest. I eat well. I don't drink soda. I don't eat chips. And I think kids look at that now and they're like, I'm a kid. I want to have fun. But I tell kids all the time, if you want to make basketball your job, treat it like your job. There are kids in high school who know they want to be a doctor and they study to be a doctor, or they study to be a lawyer. Well, practice to be a professional basketball player, all the while still, handling your school studies, of course. But I think, just being persevering through life is just, just being intentional about, everything that you want, everything that you're going to do. Don't be persuaded by other people, because everybody doesn't have the same vision you have. And nothing that's worth having is easy to achieve or easy to attain. And so you got to be your biggest fan. Life gets hard, but life gets hard for everybody some way, somehow. You can't feel bad for yourself. And I know that sounds insensitive sometimes, but at the end of the day, Father Time is insensitive. Father Time's going to keep ticking. It doesn't wait for anybody. And so just focus, lock in, be intentional about what you're doing. Like if you're going to the gym and you're going to get some shots up, well, be intentional. Make 150 good shots and get out the gym. When you go home, eat some good food, be intentional about your diet, be intentional about your rest and all those things. And so I think that was a huge part of my perseverance. Like I got knocked down a few times. I cried about it, but I got back up and I just kept going.
Man, I love that message. Thank you so much, man. Again, we really appreciate you being on. Kicking it back over to Coach Jose.
For sure, man.
All right. We have camp this week actually over in Walnut Creek over at the Ultimate Field House. Wanted to shout out Ronan, Francesca, some of our campers over there. We have a question from Ocean. The question is, what's your favorite way? What's one of your favorite ways to celebrate a victory?
Honestly, one of my favorite ways to celebrate a victory is to rewatch the highlights. It's fun to watch good basketball, when you win and you play well and all that stuff. And so, same way, like when I play bad, I'll go watch the film. But that's my favorite way to celebrate a victory. At least in the NBA, it's not much time to celebrate, and so you might have a game in less than 24 hours the next day, or in 2 days or whatever. So it's not too much celebrating you can do. You could be happy about it, and that's also a part of staying grounded. Like one game means nothing in the NBA. You got to win as many as you can, and good teams are winning 55 to 60 games a year. So you can celebrate then, and you can celebrate after you win the finals for real. But as for me, just to appreciate those good games, those games we win, those games we grind out, I like to watch, the highlights from those games.
Absolutely. A great lesson on how to handle success. I like that, and something we talked about. We all talk about at camp quite a bit. We actually have another guest, an ex-camper here, David. He wants to come in and ask you a question as well. So can we get him to join us?
What's up, Juan, man?
What's up, my man?
How you doing, dog?
They don't love you like that.
They don't. So I heard in that great intro from Hose, he mentioned you went to Castro Valley and played on the greatest team in Castro Valley history. I heard some whispers that might be a little controversy to that statement. So I was wondering if there was another team you felt like could have competed or at least laid the foundation for where you guys were able to get to.
See, well, I understand the controversy, and I understand people talk, he say, she say, but numbers don't lie, my man. We got the best record in Castro Valley history, so hey, numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. Hey, y'all close second though. It's all good. Y'all close second.
I'll take that. I'm gonna let that lay in peace forever now. I'll take that.
All right.
It's good to see you, my dog.
Likewise, my man. I hope all is well.
Yes, sir.
For the campers watching, just to give a quick little background, Coach DJ, who was a camp coach, you guys may have recognized him for those of you who were at camp. Also played at Castro Valley a few years before Juan. They actually had a really good team, and I believe they set some records as well until Juan came around and led a team that broke some of those records. So DJ, congrats. Obviously, that's really cool for you to join on. We appreciate you coming on and asking Juan some questions.
Yeah, for sure. DJ definitely,
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
Led the way and paved the way for us young guys. So, shout out to him for that.
We actually have another ex-camper, another guest that wants to hop on. It looks like William is here and he wants to ask something. Let's see here. I believe he's hopping on in just a second. We should see him pop up.
Hey, shout out to those kids that drove down from Oregon, though, man. That's dope.
That's big time, huh?
Yeah, and the kid that came from North Carolina, man. How long they in town for? Let's get them something nice.
We'll definitely we'll reach out. We'll make sure we get them something for sure.
Yeah, man, that's big time. I like that. That shows dedication, man. That's going above and beyond.
Absolutely. It looks like we may have William come on in just a little bit. We may have some technical difficulties. So before that happens, we actually do have a camper on here with us. She won Camper of the Week at a camp. And so, Caitlin, if you can hop on, I know you're in here. If you could start that video, and I know you have a question for Juan as well.
The video is disabled, so I can't turn on my video. I think, yeah, thank you.
No worries. Go ahead and, oh, there we go. We got it.
Hi Juan, I'm Caitlin. And I have two questions, but my first question is, outside of basketball, who is the person you looked up to the most?
Hey, Caitlin. First of all, congratulations on being Camper of the Week.
Thank you.
Outside of basketball, like someone close to me or just in life in general?
In life in general.
Wow, that's a great question. I think I was so consumed with basketball, to be honest. Like, I was just one of those kids that all I literally did was play sports. I mean, I had some really good teachers in my life that I'm really thankful for. Miss Addos, Miss Abbott was a great teacher of mine, Mr. McMaster at Castro Valley. So those were some people that I looked up to that I appreciate. They really helped me, kind of navigate my youth life through school and, keep my studies and my, sports journey kind of intertwined to make sure I didn't, one, forget about my studies, or two, be so consumed with school that, I wasn't able to enjoy my life outside of school. Also, they helped me find that balance. And so I think those are some good people that I looked up to.
That's really cool. And then my final question is, as a girl basketball player, I wanted to know who your favorite WNBA player is.
One of them was Sydney Colson. You may not know that name. She played for the Las Vegas Aces for some time. I really like Asia Wilson. She's a killer. Kelsey Plum is really good. Liz Cambridge. Sabrina Ionescu, she's a friend of mine. I love women's basketball. It's very fundamental. It's very pure still. And so I'm very appreciative, and I'm a big advocate for women's basketball. So, keep going. You may one day be in the WNBA, if that's one of your dreams. Keep going and keep working to do that.
Yeah, I hope so. Thank you so much for answering my questions. I really appreciate it.
Of course, and don't hope. Be intentional. Tell yourself that you're going to make it.
Caitlin, if you can, again, she won Camper of the Week. If you could just, it looks like you may have your award that you got at Camper when you won the Camper of the Week. If you can maybe show us that.
Yeah, sure. It's a
Oh,
jersey.
that's tight. That's
Yeah.
dope. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I really love the jersey, by the way. It's great.
Nice. Well, congratulations. I'm glad you won it.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Caitlin. Well, that actually brings me to my next point. I know we sent you a little package, and I know you have it right next to you. If you want to just take a second, open that up, see what we got for you.
I haven't opened this up, guys. It says, do not open until the virtual webinar. So
There we go.
you guys are opening this with me.
See, he's coachable. It's part of the reason he's so successful.
Is this my Warriors camp jersey?
You know it. You know it.
I appreciate y'all. I'm about to wear this in practice in my next pickup.
Absolutely. We love it. Well, man, I just wanted to show you, obviously, as someone who's an ex-camper, the first ex-camper that will have his jersey worn at camp by a bunch of our campers this entire summer. So obviously something really, really cool. And hopefully it's something super special to you, because I know it means a heck of a lot to us to have someone, represent Warriors basketball camp and be able to have a lot of campers represent you and what you're doing on the court for us, man.
For sure, man. It's very humbling. It's pretty cool to see, even for myself, just on the out, like taking an outer body experience and stepping back and looking at it, like just to watch it all come full circle and, being in the kids that are watching now, being in their shoes, previously, like I've been there before. And so, just to be a role model is really cool and it's very humbling. And, I'm very thankful, God has kept me healthy, put me in different positions to succeed. And so, for all the kids out there, there's an NBA player in your camp. You just don't know who it is, and it might be you. And so I urge all you guys, to be supportive of one another, be good teammates, be good friends, be respectful to one another, work hard, respect the game, because if you don't respect the game will not respect you, and have fun, most importantly. So I appreciate it, man. This is dope.
I'm glad you like it. I'm glad you like it. Well, man, before we let you go, we did have some other questions. I want to ask some kind of rapid fire questions. We're going to go real quick, just kind of get right into it. So correct me if I'm wrong, but it looks like you might even be in a little bit of a video game chair there. I don't know if that's just a regular one, but that goes into our first question of what's your favorite video game?
Call of Duty and FIFA.
Oh, okay. What's your favorite city to visit and play in when you guys go on the road?
In the NBA?
In the NBA, yeah.
I would probably have to go with Houston or Miami.
And do you have a favorite city outside of that you just like to visit? I know obviously you play professionally outside of the country. Is there any other cities or places that you love?
London and Milan were amazing cities. I want to go back there.
Absolutely. I know you spoke a little bit of who your favorite teammate is. Can you speak about who your funniest teammate is?
Funniest teammate, Clay. It's not even close. It's not even close.
Kind of what we expected, I think. What's your favorite post-game meal?
A smoothie and preferably some marinara pasta with some grilled chicken or salmon and rice.
Okay, this one actually is something that's beneficial for all of us, and I'm super curious about this. What's your favorite kind of under-the-radar restaurant here in the Bay Area?
Boudin.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, I really like clam chowder, and they have a really good crab melt.
I love it. What's your favorite shoe to play in, like
Kobe.
Game day? Kobe?
Yeah, I only play in Kobe's. I might play in some PGs or some Kyries here and there, but Kobe's only.
Okay, what's your favorite game you've ever played in? Do you have one particular game that really stands out to you throughout your entire career? It doesn't have to be just your, NBA or professional, but even in high school, maybe middle school, whatever it is there a favorite game to you that really stands out that's special to you?
Boston Celtics, when I crack my head open.
Oh.
Yeah.
Last one. You get to pick 4 teammates to play alongside you. Okay, so it's not like your top 4 players of all time, but you're trying to play a pickup game. the best pickup team in the world. You have 4 teammates that have all played in the NBA of all time. Any players of all time, you can go back to Magic or Jordan, whoever it is, 4 guys that play alongside you. Who are you picking up?
KD. All right, so me at the 1, Steph at the 2, KD at the 3, Dre at the 4. No. See, then I can't leave Kobe and Shaq out of there. All right, so I'm gonna go Steph, Dre, Kobe, Shaq, me.
That's going to be a pretty tough squad to beat in any pickup game around the world.
Facts.
I like that.
That's a loaded 5 right there.
Absolutely. Well, it looks like I just got a message. Again, I don't want to leave anybody out, but I think we were able to get William in here just to speak. I don't know if he's going to be able to start his camera. Is that true? Just give it just a second. All right, maybe not. Maybe next time. Next time you're on with us, we'll make sure he's on. We all know these technical difficulties are troublesome sometimes. But, man, Juan, on behalf of the entire Warriors Basketball Academy, we just want to thank you. Really appreciate the time you took with us. Super inspiring stuff. I want to wish you the best of luck moving forward, and know that you have an entire generation of Bay Area players and fans that are really rooting for you. Obviously, a lot of them that got to hear from you personally today. So I just want to thank you. We all want to thank you for taking the time with us, and best of luck moving forward.
I appreciate it, my man. Thank you for having me. And to all the campers, remember I said, have fun, enjoy the game, respect the game, and be a good teammate.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. And we'll be cheering for you and talk to you soon.
All right, Jose. I appreciate it, man.
All right, man.
All right, later.